All right, so most watercolor problems aren't about talent, they're about habits. And I think once you fix these, everything gets easier, cleaner, colors, better control, and more confidence. So today we're going to talk about 10 bad watercolor habits and how you can fix those. So you're going to watch me just paint. I'm just doing some loose warm-ups lately, and I am sharing these over on my Patreon if you want to check them out. And speaking of my patrons, I want to say a special thank you because without you guys, I always say this, there would not be a YouTube channel. So thank you so much for joining my membership. All right, so let's just get into it. One of the number one things, and I do this, and I shouldn't do this, but I have had this happen many times. I try not to do it anymore, cause especially with my nice brushes. But number one, don't leave your brushes sitting in water. I think that's one of the fastest ways you can ruin your brushes, leaving them face down in a cup with the bristles bent. And what happens, those tips, they bend, they have a hard time holding their shape again. So you want to rinse them, you want to lay them flat or stand them up to dry. Another thing that happens with those, the ferrules can get rusty because they get so much water in there. It can also loosen up the glue. So just don't do it. My Lebanon brushes are absolutely fabulous because they are bamboo and they don't have any metal ferrules in them. And that the brush themselves go way down and deep. So one of the really nice things about those brushes, if you haven't seen those yet, I am using it here in this demonstration, and it's great for trees. All right, number two, I've seen this many times, don't use just 1 cup of water. If you use 2 cups of water, if you have one for your rinsing, for your paint brushes, and one for your clean water for painting, it's going to keep those colors much more fresh, and it's going to help things not become quite so muddy, because if you're dipping your paint into colored water, and if you look at your colored water, I bet you right now, if you have some sitting on your counter and you don't use your 2 cups, it's brown. So all of those colors are going to mix together. So keep yourself a separate one. And I am bad at this too, because if you're like me, you have your 2 cups and you're forever, I do this all the time, dip into the wrong one because I'm in it. I'll dip it into my coffee, I'll dip it into my tea. So sometimes if you have a big bucket, that works well too for your dirty water, and then just have 2 small jars in the front of you with the clean water. I've done that lately too. Or you could have one for your yellows, one for your blues, and one for your reds. You could do it that way. All right, so at least 2 cups of water. Make sure you have one that's clean. Number 3, don't start with cheap paper. Now, I have to admit this. When I first started painting, I painted with Arches. And it wasn't because I knew any better. It was just because my mom was an artist, and that's what she used, and she had always used. So when I started with really good paper, and I didn't have a lot of the problems that I hear my students deal with. So if watercolor feels like it's hard to do, it could be your paper, because those cheaper papers just don't handle the water well. They don't have the sizing or good sizing on them, and it makes it a little bit more difficult to blend your colors. So good paper will do half of the work for you. All right, number 4, don't scrub that paper, especially if it's not good paper. Watercolor really isn't meant to be scrubbed harshly back and forth. That damages that surface, and so that will make the paint look matte or dull. So instead of scrubbing the surface, just try layering them gently when you're adding color to the top. I have seen people use a magic eraser to remove some paints that way. You can also use something called watercolor grounds. If you scrub it too hard and you end up with a hole in your paper, you can add watercolor grounds on there. But the biggest thing is just try not to scrub it. Don't be too rough on it. The thicker the paper is, like if you have 300-pound cold press, that will take a beating. The 140, not quite so much. And then if you're using really inexpensive pulp paper, 90-pound, that's going to tear very easy. All right, number 5, don't overmix your colors on the palette. When you mix too much, everything turns, again, muddy or flat. Let some of that blend happen on the paper naturally. And I think that's where watercolor really shines, like, for example, in this one, which is a warm-up painting. Number 6, don't paint everything with a tiny brush. Now, I often start with 5x7 paintings for my beginner students. It's just easier to usually do a painting in less than 2 hours that way, especially for my live classes I was teaching. But if you're trying to reach for that small brush, it's going to make your work very tight, very stiff all the time. If you use a larger brush, it's going to help you paint a little bit more naturally, and it's going to keep your washes a little bit more loose. And you'll notice with this one, I started out with that bigger wash brush, and now I'm using that very tiny point for all the details at the end. All right, number 7, don't rush your drying time. Impatient creates blooms, runbacks, muddy layers. And each layer, if you wait until it's dry before adding your next layer, it's going to give you a little bit more control. Granted, if you're doing a wet into wet wash, let it do its thing, and then once it's dry, you can go back in again with your details. All right, number 8, don't try to control every drop of water, because watercolor moves, guys. This is what makes it beautiful. So instead of always fighting it, kind of just guide it. And again, these little practice warm-ups work great for water control if you're having trouble with that. And if you have problems with water control, check out my water control video. That might help you with some of the problems that you're working with. All right, number 9, don't compare your work to others. Because you know what? Everyone starts somewhere. And if you're comparing your work to somebody else that's got years of practice behind their belt, that is only going to suck your motivation right out of you. So what I want you to focus on is your progress, okay? How you're doing as you're progressing, not about the perfection. All right, and then number 10, don't quit after a bad painting. That's like the worst time you can quit. I think every watercolor artist makes paintings that we don't like, and I think learning watercolor or how that water and that pigment behave is what's going to help you in the next one. So making quote unquote bad paintings is just a step into your next painting that is going to be better because of it. All right. So I hope these little habits, if you build them early, will help you with your watercolor. It'll make it a whole lot easier for you. You'll get cleaner colors, you'll get better control, and I think you'll gain a little bit more confidence every time you paint with it. So I do share more beginner practice tips and full tutorials over on my Patreon with longer real-time lessons over there. I would love to have you. So if you're just starting with watercolor, I think that foundation stuff really will help you out, really matters. And if you want to check out Patreon, I will put that link down below for you. All right, you guys, I hope you have a wonderful week. I am still at my beach house, so again, it's hard for me to do my edits, but hopefully you are enjoying this. And I am getting a lot of painting in, I will say that. It's been a lot of fun. So, all right, we'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day.